Hi everybody, we're back. And we have the pixel cam on. Which seems to have frozen a little bit because I don't see him freaking out the way he's freaking out in real life. Oh, poor baby. There we go. Were you upset that your camera wasn't working, huh? Yeah? We're alright now. Alright, so I believe we are starting. We finished on row 14 and we will continue from there. So pull our little stitch marker out. And the next is 5. Decrease. Five. Decrease. Two. 3. Hi AJ. Welcome in, friend. Since we're changing color over to yellow now, we pull that partway out. We realized that we didn't carry any of this yellow over throughout here, so we'll just give ourselves some extra slack. So that's just, again, a reminder that we want to make sure that we're not pulling this too tight because it creates puckering in our plushie. So we want to make sure that we give plenty of leeway here. And we pull this up through like that. Now we can start with our next color. Except that I looked at the wrong side, so we gotta pull back from here. And we just want to make sure that like when it's filled tight, we don't want anything like pulling the color too taut on us. Hi Kala, and yeah, thank you AJ. I am doing fairly well. Getting used to the whole threads. This is a really nice cream one that Robot got me last year. So immediately we go to decrease. And then we can pull that a little bit tighter there. It'll be grand. And then another 5, and then another decrease. Okay. This yarn is so hard to see the little holes. If this was black, I would be so hard pressed. And yeah, I do call myself Lunix. Solar's okay, but Lunix would definitely be my preferred name. Funny enough, even in real life, I actually do prefer Lunix to some of the other nicknames, you know, aside from my real name. Oh, apparently I finally reached 100 followers too. Yay! Apparently this is a 100-follower stream. Thanks. I actually I came up with the name Lunix when I was 17. That was before 2010. That was like 2008, 2009-ish. And I've been using SolarLunix since about 2011. There are other SolarLunixes out there. Cough, cough, a company who has tried to steal my name for their company name. But I am the original. I want this to go down. That's not quite right. I think I missed a stitch somewhere. Okay, so that's our first decrease. Welcome in, Q. I really love this yarn too. It's really hard to work with at times because, as you can see, the stitches are like really puffed up together. But it is so soft. It is so very soft. 5, and now a decrease. It's actually one of the nicest yarns that I've had that slides over my finger. Like, certain yarns will start giving you like rope burn, but this is like really, really gentle on your fingers. I love it. And another decrease. Alright, we'll just trust the process then. Because I swore that would have been white. If not, we can always add an extra stitch. Yeah, I actually seen that yarn at my local craft store, but I do not make enough money yet from streaming. Maybe one day. So once again, the way I change color is I take the last loop out, I pull my white across, and I use that as my next loop, because that creates a more seamless transition. That's true. Then another decrease. We want to pull that. We want to pull them both tight. 1, oops, decrease. There we go. It was a trust the process. There we go. Now, on to row 16. We are not using safety eyes. So now we go 1 and put our stitch marker in the first spot. Our little ghosty today. And remember, we used the witch's book to hold on to our stitches. So that's sitting off to the side for when we're finishing up for the night. And I did not light up my crochet hook today. So for those who haven't seen this crochet hook before, it has really helpful features where it has a light to help me see my stitches better. This works really good for my eyes, but as you can see, it blows the camera out. Even on the lower setting, it's a bit bright and flashes the camera a little bit. So I have a tendency to turn that off these days. It has a stitch counter and a row counter. This row counter I'm using for something else, and I typically, because I've been crocheting so long, I don't need the stitch counter anymore. So I'm using the stitch counter on my lovely hook to keep track of the cockatiel plushie that we're making, because the other project I work on off stream. So that's what that's all about. Decrease. So what's everybody been up to? How are your Thursdays? Just gently pull this along the side here. Figure out how much we need. And about right here. Pull up. Pull this white one tight. Now we start with 3. Tight again. 3. Getting some Discord notifications. So let's see, done 3, another decrease. So these streams aren't really meant to be tutorials, especially since these are paid for patterns, and I don't want to disrespect the artist who has taken the time, love, and care to make these. So I will post, we'll try to remember to post the link to the Etsy page that I got this off of. If you are smart enough, skilled enough, pay enough attention, as a crochet artist, you might actually be able to make this yourself. And all I ask is that if you are following along, please do give some money to the artist who made this. The pattern is not that expensive. What's expensive is the yarn. This ended up going from this went from a gift from a friend, who I call Neko. And it went from being a lovely gift from Neko to being a £50 investment into making a cockatiel plushie. I love my friends. Yeah, it took me exactly 9 years to finish my wedding blanket. A blanket I literally started on my wedding day and tied the very last stitch off on my wedding day 11 years later. Okay. So this says fasten off. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pull it all the way through. I'm going to snip it. Going to get this white working with me. Come across here. Going to pull that loop through. And so now when I pull this all the way tight, I can tie this off inside. We'll deal with this in a minute. And I should be able to keep going with this loop. It's a little awkward. And we'll have to make sure that this yellow is happy where it is, which at the minute it's not. So I'm gonna pull that loop there. I'm just gonna make another wee knot in here. Oh, thank you for the sub queue. Really appreciate it. Should be able to now see we still have the slip knot here, but this should be a little bit tighter. And we'll come over here and we'll just tie it again to make sure that this doesn't come loose. And that should be good enough to continue. Now we've got a little bit of a funny thing here, but this is just the way how I'm doing it. More experienced crochet artist, as in someone who doesn't wing it and has had actual help learning how to do stuff like this, might do it different. Okay, so we fastened off the yellow. So we now do 3. Now the only thing I need to remember is right here, that is not a stitch. 2, 3. Lose our spot as we always do. Decrease. 1, 2. Now, when you are just starting out as a crochet artist, you should be counting your stitches. Every row that you do, you should double check by counting your stitches. That's how you make sure things are going the right way. I don't. If I end up where I'm supposed to end up, I call it good enough. We just hope. Hope is, you know, crafting skill. Alright, so we just finished 16, we're on 17 now. First stitch 17. Put our stitch marker in. Wonder why I'm getting pings. It's 9 o'clock, and my little finch is telling me it's 9 o'clock, and that I need to make sure that I'm doing stuff. Like taking my medication before bed. Let's see. 1, 2. And now we are increasing, not decreasing. So increasing is putting the 2 stitches in the same stitch rather than the opposite way. 1, 2. So this is the head finished, I think. And now we'll be starting to, we've kind of cinched it in. And we'll be starting to head back out, so that way it gives us a nice, like, plump body. So that was our, yep, 1, 2, 3, 4. Another increase. Crochet is really the art of repeating the stitch over and over until you counted it correctly. So this Saturday, I will probably be playing more Gary's Mod with Rook and friends. However, there's also Cordelia, who plays Sea of Thieves. So, haven't fully decided. It kind of depends on what time Cordelia starts and how I'm feeling. More than likely gonna play with Rook, but I haven't fully 100% decided yet. Increase. Now this is the part where we remember that this tiny one is not a stitch. We go 1, 2 in the white, 3, Robot darling, are you watching, honey? Oh, never mind. I'm not gonna make you get up. You're probably all comfy playing Stardew. That was 4. Now our increase, and then our last 2. And we end up almost exactly where we want. And by almost, I mean when we finish our last 2, we are exactly where we want to be. And so I don't have to count the number of stitches because I know there has to be the correct number of stitches since we ended exactly where I wanted to be. Is that right, Pixel? Did you preen a feather or something? That was Pixel's I preened a feather wrong noise. One. 2. I've been getting sick on and off the past couple of weeks, which is why I'm saying that I'm not sure about Saturday's stream. I did miss Saturday's stream the other week, which is obviously unlike me. I think there's like a stomach bug going around the area. It's just been a little bit. Ugh. So for the past wee while, dinner's been a bit bland, which is grand. Like we had rice and vegetables yesterday. We had rice and vegetables the day before. And it's helped, but oh man, my stomach has not been happy lately. Oh, we eat eggs all the time, and we use on our egg fried rice we use we finish it with sesame seed oil, and that's really nice. We got a nice big wok. It's a flat bottom wok, so it's not like a true wok, but oops, wrong stitch. the sesame seed oil really finishes it nicely. We've also been doing ramen, but like you're nearly finishing the ramen, and then right as it's starting to get like just bright, you crack a raw egg into it and let the egg cook in the ramen broth. Oh, it's delicious. And we ended on the stitch we were supposed to, so everything should be grand. Oh, Q, you nearly killed me there. Yeah, we don't even soft boil it. We literally just throw it in the boiling water right near the end, and it cooks just enough. Of course, in the UK and Ireland, our eggs are completely safe. So even eating raw egg, you're gonna be fine. Ooh. So we're at the 3, but I need to check this because now there is something up. Oh, got a level up. We'll put her in travel mode so you guys can see a little bit more of what I've unlocked in Ithya. So Ithya, up in the corner here, is like a magic themed it's a game, but it's one of those study timers with the like timers and journals and all that, and you unlock little spirits and stuff. It's really cute. Another one is Spirit City Lo-Fi Sessions. Unfortunately, with Spirit City Lo-Fi Sessions, I've been getting my audio muted due to the background music. But Ithya says that it's completely safe for streaming. So I've moved over to Ithya for these streams. Plus, it has like a really nice, like, uplifting, magic-y background kind of sound. Oh, you have your own chickens! Oh, Q, you're gonna have to send me some pictures and stuff, because this here is the only chicken I'm allowed. I am fairly certain, and Robot can weigh in if he's listening, but I am fairly certain I would not be living in this house anymore if I went ahead and purchased a chicken. I'm very particular about my eggs too. There is a shop next door, but unfortunately they only have eggs that are from caged chickens. Oh, yes! Yes, yes, yes. Your rooster who thinks he's a cat in the cat tree. I am super duper bad with names. I really am. And I am also extremely bad with connecting things. So I am so sorry about that, Q. Your chicken, your rooster, he is so cute. Now, I said this last stream, and so for my new friends, one of the things that I really like about this particular pattern maker is that they stagger the increases and the decreases, which actually makes the plushie more round. Because it's actually a big problem if you don't stagger it, everything becomes hexagonal, where when you stagger it, it's a lot more, the increases and decreases are harder to see. So when you're first starting crochet, there's like a right side and a wrong side. And when you're making a plushie, you're always working so that the outside is facing you. If you're working so that you're over here, you're on the wrong side. So you can see it might be a little bit difficult, but this stitch here, that looks really different to this stitch here. So this is the wrong side of the fabric. And this is what the right side of the fabric looks like. And that only really applies when you're working in rounds like this. When you're doing a flat object and you're moving back and forth, so you're doing going to the end and then taking a turning chain, you will have one right side and then one wrong side on each. As long as you're not doing a motif like a kind of pixel blanket, if you're doing just a standard stitch or set of stitches, it usually doesn't matter. Actually, now that I think about it, I should actually take this this watch off. So when you are crocheting, and you have a nice smart watch like my one here, you will find that your steps very suddenly start going up, and that is because that's because your watch can't tell the difference between this and walking. So best to take this off. One. I never catch him getting onto the swing, but I always catch him getting off because he does stuff like that. And plenty of times he manages to make that swing slam against the side of the cage. Oh, absolutely. He is king of the house after all. Usually I make people on Twitch redeem the pixel cam, but I actually, when I'm doing streams like this, I quite like keeping the pixel cam up because otherwise it's just my hand or, you know, and occasionally this isn't interesting, so you gotta be able to watch the burb. I'm glad you get to enjoy both. Yeah, it's really starting to flare out nicely. So you can really get a sense of the head and the separation of the head and the body. And after this, it's going to be a little bit easier. Do a couple of rows of not changing anything. I definitely think that I'm going to have to go get more of this creamy white color. I will probably end up taking the whole project with me to just make sure that I get cream and not white. There's, in this light, it's really hard to tell. That's simply because I have a nice off color soft light, where this is, like, if you were to look at the regular white next to it, it's very, very subtle difference, but I still want that, still want the white separate from the, from the cream white. I keep doing this to myself. Let's see, where was the last increase? It's just gonna be easier to go back. Pretty sure this is, yeah, that's an increase. That's what I get for distracting myself. So I've said it before, I am dyslexic, which means my working memory is a little bit shoddy. But I get there. Definitely get there. And that is us about to start row 21. Row 21 starts with us just doing single crochet the entire time. But it says at this point we want to put stuffing in here. So I need to just turn around a second and see if I actually have stuffing in this office or if I forgot something else, which is, you know, equally likely. Because I thought I remembered getting stuffing for this project, specifically because my husband and I discussed it and it was gonna get used. But I don't see stuffing in the closet where I thought it would be. So we may have to go without stuffing today and deal with stuffing next time. And possibly, by next time I mean possibly between streams. Because I don't see it, and that is not great. It is what it is, and all we can do is keep going. The show must go on after all. Enjoy your dinner, Q. Thanks for stopping by. So I will try to find the stuffing next time. Self-care. Robot, I swear. I'm gonna come downstairs and self-care you. How's your game, buddy? I don't know about you, but this is looking like it might not last, so we might have to go to the craft shop tomorrow. Well, not tomorrow. Like, we don't have to go tomorrow, but I do need to pick stuff up out town tomorrow anyway. this out. We've already put that we're doing 21. Yep. And now this is nice and easy because I can just keep going until I get to the next row. Because I'm pretty good about not skipping stitches. It's these rows that actually are like the most dangerous, especially for someone who's seasoned, because with how fluffy this yarn is, it can be really easy to miss a stitch. But if you see here, every time I move my fingers, I'm actually moving my fingers specifically to the next stitch to mark where the next stitch is. And it's not something that I actually do consciously anymore. It's just something I've done for as long as I can remember. Because you have to hold your work to be able to, like, because you're pushing this hook through. Here, I'll slow this down for you. So here's the next one. I take my fingers from here and I move them to here. I put the tip of my crochet hook all the way through so it catches 2 loops. I spin around underneath, pull a loop through, and then I wrap around this way. So I go from underneath again, turn the hook downward, and then pull through. And it becomes such a rhythmic motion that I can actually move pretty quickly. Crochet is actually technically faster to work up than knit. However, crochet, because of the thickness of the yarn, instead of doing a single piece of yarn for every stitch, you're doing basically a double piece of yarn. Crochet uses more yarn. So if you don't have a lot of money to spend on yarn, you're better knitting. If you don't have a lot of time to spend on your project, you're better crocheting. Now, I swore I got polyfill for this, so I think I will have to check my office a little bit more carefully before I go and spend more of Robot's money. And yes, I mean Robot's money. Unfortunately, other than Twitch, I am not doing demonstration this semester during my PhD. I decided it was taking too much time away from my actual PhD work and didn't want to have to walk across town in bad weather and all sorts of stuff when I can just work from home. So I ended up not taking on extra work this semester, which has just left me with having to give Robot the pretty eyes when I want something. And they don't work very well. Robot's a really tough cookie. And for good reason, because I spend money on really stupid stuff, but... He also lets me spend money on, you know, cute things like this crochet cockatiel. And yarn bowls and silly little things that make me happy. But he also helps me be mindful of my spending. Which is important because we're adults and have adult things like a house that we need to pay for. What I wouldn't give to be able to upgrade my house to have a bath. And what I wouldn't give is 5,000 pounds. Ah. If you like what I do and want to support me getting a bath. What you doing, Pixel? Pixel's pretty happy right now because I've been staying downstairs more. Haven't been feeling well, so I've been either working downstairs or sitting in the bed with my laptop and working rather than working in my office like I typically do. So he's really happy right now because I'm feeling, obviously I'm feeling well enough to do a stream tonight. And that means that he has me in the office. So that's definitely only one loop. I have a tendency to work higher and higher, so if you do notice me like working off the screen, just, you know, give me a polite little hey. I won't mind, I promise. The Coffee Stream bot has been nice enough to link my Ko-fi page. On it, you can buy me a coffee, or you can give yourself a little bit of a treat by buying yourself a commission. It is a quick sketch, limited to the amount of. So basically, the more money you pay, the more minutes you get. I think it's 50p per minute of drawing with a minimum of a 10-minute drawing. And that is to help not only me work on my art, but to give you guys something a little bit in return for, you know, buying me a coffee. It is coming along so quickly. Once again, shout out to my absolute bestie. I don't want to mess up the pixel cam. I've specifically got this, the bar that the pixel cam is on, so that it could sit over my shoulder, so I wasn't like limited to what I'm doing right now. But instead I have decided that I have set the pixel cam up perfectly, and if I move it, I'm never going to get it back into that position again. And it's just like, I should move it and use the thing the way that I want to, the way it was designed. So that way when I'm constantly creeping up with my crochet, it's creeping up towards the camera, not towards off screen. But yeah, it happens. The other thing about this method of moving across the stitches is that when I'm getting close to the end, I actually end up with this in my fingers, and I can tell that I'm near the end of the round, which is really nifty. Now, there's something that you don't always, that you don't really notice in crochet, not unless you're paying attention, but your rows will not line up straight unless you're doing a particular way of crocheting in the round, which I think is really, I haven't really looked into it too much because it hasn't really applied. Because if you do it that way, the stitch count on all of your patterns will be wrong. So when you're following a pattern, you want to stitch the way the pattern tells you. But you'll notice that this is the first stitch. The stitch below it is slightly off to the left. So if we go back, this curve here is actually the end of our rows, and you'll see that it's a very nice gentle curve this way in the round, not straight up and down like you would expect. I find it really funny that the reason that I ended up not doing biology was because all of our instruction sheets were so long, I found them hard to do. But yet, crochet is following an instruction sheet. And I don't really have a problem with crochet the way I had a problem with the biology. To be fair with the crochet, when I mess up, which you've seen me do a couple of times tonight, I can just go back and fix it pretty easily. When I messed up in biology, I ended up messing up a multi-week project. Like, I'm talking like 3 weeks that I worked. And I misread a vial and put something into the vial I wasn't supposed to. And as soon as I did it, I knew I had done it because I realized I reread the vial. And I was so upset. And the professor instead of being graceful about it, kind of just shouted, "I just told you not to do that." And I was like, well, I misread. At the time, I didn't know I was dyslexic. But dyslexic or not, his reaction definitely put me off biology a bit. I just didn't do really well in the biology labs. I was more suited to the... Even though I wanted to solve and research things like multiple sclerosis, I was just better suited for things like plants, things that didn't involve living beings that, because a lot of studies use animal research, which is absolutely necessary. I just don't have the skill to harden myself enough to be able to do those types of labs and research. So I ended up, even back then, saying that if only I could, put biology onto the computer, I would be happy. And when I was younger, I kind of wanted to do computer science anyway, but I was told, no, do the hard sciences, be an academic. You'd be really suited to academia. And, well, I did. And it was extremely difficult. It was difficult because a lot of the tests required you to just know all this vocabulary. And my teacher would look at me and go, I don't understand. You participate in class, you know what you're talking about in class, but your grades, you're just barely like scraping by. Like, what's going on? Why are you struggling so much with the tests? Well, it turns out that the way that she asked the question, because when I was in high school, I had enough time to decode what the question wanted. Same with a good chunk of my undergraduate. I had enough time to decode what the question wanted. And write the answer, that when it got to a point where it was constant vocabulary and I had to explain with very specific terms, I wasn't able to recall that vocabulary in a test setting. And when I got assessed for dyslexia during my PhD, one of the things that she noted was that I was using simplistic words for my level of study. Also, hello, Jake. Welcome in. Not only am I crocheting with a bird on camera, this is going to turn into a lovely stuffed cockatiel. I really missed doing these creative streams. I've been trying to keep up with my promise of once a month creative streams, and so I decided that as we're nearing the end of March, that doing another creative stream would be a really good idea, especially since I'm feeling well tonight and I I had a lovely steak dinner. And I got some stuff done at work today. I thought, take some time, relax, and get some crochet in. Especially since Neko was so nice to donate this to me on Throne. Yeah, it absolutely is, especially since thesis writing is hard. It takes a lot out of you. So making sure you get some time, no matter what you do, to just relax and do something that makes you happy is important. I am doing a PhD in plant health analysis. So I use, hold on a second. I use a fancy camera called a hyperspectral camera to take pictures of plants. A hyperspectral camera is different from a regular camera in that a hyperspectral camera will take 3 wavelengths of light. It takes the red, the green, and the blue, and they're pretty broadband waves of light. Where the hyperspectral camera takes narrow bands. The narrow bands still go from red to green to blue, but they go from like 400 nanometers, which is like blue, through red and up into near infrared to about 1,000 nanometers. And it takes hundreds of pictures in those ranges. And then you can use a computer to analyze them. And I am developing, well, I've taken some pictures and I'm also then developing the program to predict, I'm trying to predict what the weight of the crop will be for potatoes and wheat as a metric of plant health. I wish I was a bit faster. I should have been finished with this PhD a couple years ago. I'm not sure that it'll make a big difference, but I hope it'll make enough of a difference that somebody will be able to take my research and use it to help food security. My PhD should have been finished 2 years ago. I am 5 years into a 3-year PhD because just a whole bunch of stuff happened. Part of it is actually me, like, I will admit, part of it is me being salty about the stuff that happened, and I should just, I know I should just pick myself up by the bootstraps and get it done, but uh, part of it is some uh, genuine issues. Um, the problem is that I am no longer in the paid portion of my PhD. I am in the portion of my PhD where every 6 months I owe £750. And I can't get a loan for that. I have to just pay £750. And I genuinely thought that I would be done before the end of this next selection. To block list. Gotta go over to Twitch. Okay, Siri, grab that. So yeah, I definitely could have been better with that, but we do what we can. We do what we can with the brain that we are given. I appreciate that, Jake. I just hope that, I hope that I can get it done, within this next extension. There's just a lot of other stuff going on right now that I really need to get this, wrapped up so that I can move on to the, next chapter of my life. I will be turning 34 in April. And it's probably about time that I got a real job. Or I became a full-time streamer and start making apps and games and stuff while everybody watches me stream on Twitch. That could be cool. I think Robot might kill me, but that's simply because I will have stressed him out so much for having to be the single person making money in this household. And he deserves better. I can fully respect that, Jake. When I was doing my undergraduate, I was a little bit behind, but instead of enjoying my high school years and my university years, I was watching my brothers every weekend. Didn't have too many friends and kind of wish things went a bit different, but at 34, I am happier than ever. I have a wonderful husband. I've moved countries. So you could probably tell from the accent, I'm not Irish. Well, I am technically. I've been naturalized. I'm just not born Irish. And I can't shake the accent, which really sucks. So I don't know what stage of life you're at, Jake, or Jack. I just realized I've been calling you Jake because I read it as Jake and then Defender. Okay, Jake is fine. Perfect. I was so worried there for a second that the dyslexia got me. I don't know what stage of life you're at, but from my perspective as a 34-year-old, nearly 34-year-old woman, it gets better. If you put in the work, it gets so much better. Yeah, I think we're definitely gonna run out of this, this color. Oh, wow, military. That sounds awesome. And your English is fine. It's better than my French. Pretty sure Robot could speak better French than me. My French is so terrible that I went to the French bakery in town and couldn't even order a pain au chocolat because I froze. I froze so bad. And they were so encouraging. We actually went to Paris last year, or was it the year before? We went to Paris recently enough, and we had a really good time. And I was able to catch a couple of things. We had used basically just Duolingo. I really want to get back to the Pimsleur, but I haven't been able to put in like the dedication to it. We have the Pimsleur French. We have the Pimsleur in general. I grew up in high school and took German. I took German because I was in a very German area. My father's family all were very proud of their German heritage. My aunt swore up and down I would end up hating German. I actually really liked it. The sentence structure made sense to me. The spelling made sense to me. I really, really, really struggle with French spelling. I struggle a lot with the gendered words in both French and German. French, Arabic, and English. That's a nice combination. I started once to learn Urdu for an ex-boyfriend. But at the end of the day, I still only speak English. I am hoping to start some Irish classes. The Irish online is all... At least when I spoke with my father-in-law, the ones that we seen is not the not the right one for this area, and I'd like to learn the one that is from this area. Plus there's classes in town. Apparently the Irish language is actually being taken up a lot more by the younger generation again. Yeah. I won't speak too much on that subject, between my own biasness and the fact that I will not do the history the justice that it deserves. Simply for the fact that, again, my memory is just not the greatest. Robot? Or was that the puppy? Charlie? That was the puppy. Hi, puppy! Hello. Yeah, I have a, come here, buddy. Come here. I know you're not gonna come. No, hey. Are you really hiding in your bed so I can't show you off? Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here, Charlie. I am not going to torture him if he doesn't want to come out. Come here. Come here. Yeah. This is Charlie. Charlie is a Staffy Jack Russell mix, and he is not happy about being picked up. He looks a little traumatized. He immediately hid under the desk.
Your friend Jake says hi. He does. He says hi.
Here, I'll let you go back down. There you go, buddy. Do you want to go into your bed? No, Charlie! Come here, puppy! You don't need to leave. I'm sorry I picked you up. I'm so sorry I picked you up, buddy. Aw, Rex. Goldens are so cute. That was beautiful singing, Pexel. Beautiful singing, honey. Yeah, beautiful singing. Bark. Ball of hair energy and pure warmth. I bet. I am actually allergic to my dog and need to take daily allergy medications. If I pick him up without wearing a jumper, and he touches my forearms, I end up with hives. Why do I still have a dog? Because I'm a sucker. I'm also allergic to that thing. He is so dusty. Between the two of them, I should be dead. And that is my exact sentiment. Although, I don't think I would get another Staffy. I love Staffies. Absolutely love them. But I found it so hard to find a place that would take him for boarding, because Staffies get a bad name around here. Even though, as you could see, he was the sweetest dog. The problem is they see Staffy and they don't even contact you. I've had several places just ghost me. Yeah, my personal favorite dog is a Rottweiler. And that's because I grew up with Rottweilers. I had, my first memory is with a Rottweiler. My second memory is with a Rottweiler. And I think even my third memory is with a Rottweiler. Probably my fourth as well. My very first memory is I was sitting at the table watching Barney eating Lucky Charms, and my Rottweiler very gently pushes up underneath my arm and starts eating my cereal with me. And I could not for the life of me understand why my mother wouldn't let me finish my cereal. Handshake accepted. Clearly, it's kind of hard to reach through the computer, but I've tried. There are a couple of Rottweilers around this area, and one time I got really excited. I squealed to my husband, like, look, it's a Rottie! Oh, can I pet it? And the person just looked in shock, and they're like, that's not the normal reaction we get to a Rottweiler. Apologies for that, headphone users. Did not mean to cough in your ear. Robot, if you're watching and you happen to get up, can you bring me one of those throat lozenges, please? Probably won't be on too much longer anyway, but it would be really nice to have one. So, Jake, what made you decide on engineering? Like, I decided on computer science because I've just always been obsessed with technology, and I thought it was so cool to be able to write programs. And then when I met my husband, and he was doing, thank you, and he was doing computer science, he helped me learn how to program myself. And I loved it. It made sense. Met a guy full of tattoos. Aww. Hello, Wink Warrior. Welcome in. Been doing pretty well. We've just been chatting away, crocheting. Definitely gonna need to buy more yarn, but is this gonna be one of those interactions where you try to sell me something or get me to buy your artwork or something like that? Because it's been a couple of years since I've been streaming. Not the best streamer, but it's more about the fun. Really hopeful that with this yarn there's not going to be a knot in the middle. I got in trouble for disassembling things. I mean, if you sell me a military engine, I could probably sell it to Trump and turn a tidy profit. I'm not super business minded. Like I would love to run my own business. But I just don't think I'll ever be. Hell, I'd love to just, you know, get a better foot in the door with the streaming stuff. Just so that way I feel like I'm not a complete burden on my husband. Just gotta up that regularity, I think. I love learning things. I have done so many, I've done so many different jobs. Um, I just really like learning all sorts of different things. And honestly, somebody has to do it. I mean, if we didn't have the military, we wouldn't be able to defend ourselves. Like, now don't get me wrong, I am definitely anti-war, but just because I'm anti-war doesn't mean that I don't feel like we need to be able to defend ourselves. I will have to look that up. I am quite curious about that. That sounds really awesome. If I remember correctly. To my secret keyboard. The reason is that the rest of this desk up here is really messy. So we have the nice look, I'm kind of organized. So this is a Keychron mechanical keyboard. There's some of the mess. We'll hide some of the mess. Keychron mechanical keyboard. It's one of the small ones because I quite like being able to throw it into an easy bag, like a smaller bag. I have a separate keypad, which unfortunately is not working right now. I have to go and check the connections. I think there's something wrong with my monitor's USB port connection. I need to get myself another set of USBs because I have a tendency to fill up my entire computer's USB ports. But Jake, I'd definitely like to talk with you more about your work and stuff. I think it's really cool. So please, if you're feeling up for it, join the Discord and we can keep chatting even when I'm done with my stream tonight. And if I met you on Threads, drop me a PM, DM with your Threads name so that way I, in my ever splintering ability to actually be able to pay attention to what's going on in my own life, can connect the dots. Cool. Yeah, I do that with SolarLunix as well. I've had this, I don't know if you were here when I said it, but I've had this name since 2011 and went by Lunix since 2008 or 2009. So, I get it. I've lived a third of my life in Ireland, and I've lived nearly half my life as Lunix. I think I've heard of Jack and Dexter, but I don't think I've played it. Tilt this. Getting to that time, I should stand up, stretch my bum out a little bit, and turn my light from timed to always on. Because Pixel's light ends up turning off at a certain time because what's happened is that he obviously is a beautiful baby bird, and at the time that I put this light switch in, I was going out town at night, or I was getting home late, and so in the middle of winter it was getting dark around 3 o'clock, and this poor baby bird was only getting like 5 hours of sunlight. And so I put the light on so that way he would have more light throughout the day and stuff. That is such a cute memory. What a great way to get a name. Yeah, sunlight's pretty bad. So one of the major cities in Northern Ireland is Belfast. If you look up the daylight hours in Belfast, that'll give you the approximate hours of light that I get in the winter. In the summer, however, it is we actually end up, so if you look at the light, we actually end up not having actual night in the middle of summer. We end up going into only what's called astronomical or astrological twilight, but it never gets into true night when it gets to summer. On the offset, it means that we get really dark in the middle of winter. One of the funny things about, that they joke about is that Irish people are always like super white, super pale. I am lighter than my husband's parents. um, I'm not very good at coming up with stuff like that on the spot. There's not a lot like so. One of the interesting things about crochet is that um, if you see a crochet item for sale, it should be expensive. It needs to be expensive. If you see a cheap crochet item, that means that somebody is working for slave labor. Because crochet, unlike knit, is not able to be done by a machine. crochet also works up faster than knit. It takes more yarn, but it is faster to use crochet than it is to knit the same length and size of fabric. Provided that the person has the same experience. That is honestly so sweet. That is just so sweet. Yeah, crochet is a very good way to decompress. I like to crochet while I'm watching TV. As you can see, I can multitask pretty well while I'm crocheting. But trying sometimes to just get the time to sit and even just watch TV is hard. But one of the things that I would do if I really if I was familiar with somebody that I knew that they would really appreciate it is if you know what her favorite animal is, you can go onto Etsy and find a pattern for the animal. And quite often it'll tell you things about it, like how much yarn that you need to get for it. And if you're not 100% sure, you can, a good craft store will be able to help you out. Like, I go to a guy who owns a store literally just dedicated. So, one of the things that you need to be aware of with crochet is the region that you're actually looking at your pattern from. So right now, because I grew up in the States, because a lot, my mother grew up in the States, you know, I use United States terms for my crochet. So this is in America, in the US terms, this is a single crochet. In the UK terms, this is a double crochet. So when I go to make, I'm going to be making a plushie for a different friend. It's a smaller plushie of a bat. When I go to make that plushie, that's going to be in UK terms, so that's going to throw me off. But probably my favorite stitch would be the half double crochet in American. And I don't remember what it's called in UK terms. But I always find it adorable when somebody like tries to really learn about their crushes or their significant other's interest. it makes you feel any better, I'm trying to teach my husband how to crochet, and I am not doing a very good job. The problem is that I've been doing it for so long that I forget what was the hard part for me about crocheting. So I don't know how to help him as well as someone who's actually versed at teaching would be able to help him. And we've just been too stressed lately to kind of really get back into it, unfortunately. Have you known each other long? Oh, the ghost? So the ghost is a wee stitch marker. It just tells me where the start of my rows are. I got this from a woman across town. Or not across town, across the across Northern Ireland. So she sells these cute little stitch markers, and like here's another one of hers that I use. They're just really helpful to make sure you know where you're at. Cause I'm in I think this one might even glow in the dark. Can't remember. Maybe not. Nah, probably not. I'm at the point in my crochet where I don't need to count every stitch. I kind of know where I am based on the stitch marker. Oh, let's see. We're on row 31 of 44. I actually crocheted a ghost a while back on stream, which there was a lot of complaining about the stitch. If I named the ghost, I would have to name all of my crochet markers, and that would take forever. And then I would feel really bad when I forgot the names that I gave them. Because I have little foxes and all sorts, like a little turtle and all sorts of little cute creatures. Roberto. Oh, I love that. One of the things I considered doing on stream sometime was doing wood carving, but the more I thought about it, the more I kind of ended up against the idea of doing my wood carving on stream, and that's simply for the fact that I would have to find a setup on my laptop or do something silly like that to try to be able to do it, because wood chips in my office is not a great idea. Alright, Jake, take your time. Be safe getting your segs. That is that row down. Oh, jeez. Had a little muscle spasm there in my thumb. I haven't been crocheting a lot lately, so getting slightly out of practice. The good thing is, though, that Robot got me this lovely crochet hook, which is more ergonomic than your typical crochet hooks. Where's my typical one? This would be your typical one. It doesn't have a lot of grip. You're just on the bare metal. In this one, you have a lot more area to hold on to. Welcome back. So I definitely recommend a nice, like, thick hook like this. It's so much easier on the hand. And I mean, I crocheted with these for most of my life. Well, I would encourage you to not smoke, but that is just me because I am allergic to smoke and I know all of the bad stuff it does to your lungs. But I also appreciate that people should do what makes them happy, as long as it doesn't hurt the person next to you. Unduly. Sometimes hurting the person next to you is simply just living your best life, and that's because some people are absolutely crazy. It is 20 minutes to 10. Or 11. 20 minutes to 11. Neko! You're crazy in a good way. Yeah, I can see how you managed to start smoking from that. I may have missed it. Did you say that you've known her a long time? Eight months. You've known her longer than I knew my husband when we got married. You keep forgetting that I've known you longer than I've known my husband. Not by long, but still. Speaking of husbands, I wonder if he wants tea. Because the lozenge helped, but I think a tea before bed would be nice tonight. I actually stole my husband's work webcam to do this. This is the work webcam. And this is the camera that I'm supposed to be using. And I have a secret third camera built into the monitor that's over there. But that one's not working tonight. And that is because the display port on that computer is, or the HDMI is acting up. I'll have to probably unplug it and plug it back in. He gave me permission. I did ask. I wasn't terrible. I mean, I could have just taken it, but I was really nice and I was like, do you mind? Can I have it? Just for tonight. And he said he'll need it tomorrow, and I was like, I know, I'll give it back. I'll even plug it back in. I just need it for tonight. I am genuinely so lucky to have him. He is so patient and kind and loving and understanding. I genuinely could not ask. No. I swear I asked for it after I was done with my steak and the knife was on the plate and not in my hand. I mean, it was still within reach, but... Ooh, spill the tea! That was literally the most precious thing. I bet your therapist shit talks me. Jake, you are precious. Like, seriously. Oh, are you going to sleep, Pixel? He's got his foot tucked. So, fun fact, cockatiels sleep on a perch, like a stick. They sleep with one foot gripping, so they'll grip on, and then they'll sleep like that. And it's because when our muscles relax open. But in a cockatiel, with their foot, their muscles relax like this. This is relaxed for them. So they're not actually, they're not using they're relaxing their muscles in order to grip rather than activating. So stretching out, like, it's more like if they have to stretch out like this, where you really feel like you're stretching your fingers outward, and then that's relaxed. That's the same with a cockatiel. So they sleep holding onto the perch like that. And one of the things that happens with cockatiels is they have a tendency to have night frights. And what scientists think is one of the causes of night frights is that these little birds in the middle of the night flex their foot and start falling, and so they think there's a predator after them, so they freak out, when really it was just because they ended up letting go of their perch. Now Pixel's really good about his night frights. He doesn't have them very often. And we have managed to narrow down some of his causes. His causes of a night fright actually are things move near him and he freaks out. So at night, if the dog happens to go into my office, he might have a night fright. If I pass too close, yeah, like when humans dream about falling down. Same thing with cockatiels. They'll have a feeling of falling and then they'll just, freak out. And because the safest thing, rather than to fall, is to fly, they'll just fly. The thing with Pixel is that when he gets into his night frights, he won't settle down by himself, or at least not very quickly. So usually either me or Robot have to come in and help him. For Pixel, Pixel does better without his cage covering. Plus, this cage is really big, so I would have to get like an actual proper blanket to cover his cage. What helps him is keeping the dog out of the room, keeping the curtains on this side, this way, closed, and some partially closing the door on the other side of his cage so that way if the dog's passing by, he doesn't see it. That's what helps him. Your mileage with your own birds can vary. Like, many birds do better covering. Like when Pixel goes to Robot's parents for a sleepover, we send him with a blanket and his parents will cover Pixel at night because that's the safest thing for Pixel when he's at his at Robot's parents. So we're gonna finish this row. This is row 35. This is the last row of single crochets. So once we finish this row, we're gonna end the stream for tonight, because A, we're getting low on this yarn, and B, it is nearly 11 p.m. That's okay. I talk like people have birds, like people want to know more about birds. It's a weird niche interest. But in my book, weird is good. This was definitely the right yarn to get. This is just so soft. Steve Irwin was the best. And his kids are continuing to do the same wonderful work that he did. I think a lot of us did. It was part of the push for me to go into biology. Like I said, it didn't work out, but that happens. That is absolutely fair. Starting to get a little bit tight. Probably because I've been crocheting for nearly 3 hours. 2.5. And my setup's a little bit fun. I'm like up above this little wooden block. And just kind of like leaning over it and trying to make sure that I can both see and that you guys can see. That is row 35. So we go and find the book. We put the book here. Yeah, I think if we had more Steve Irwins and Robin Williams and even Mr. Rogers, the world would be a kinder place. What we're gonna do is we're gonna come over here. Gonna make that real big. And this is where we're at so far. And eventually we'll get this stuffed, hopefully, between now and our next live. And we'll have a nice, kind of stuffed cockatiel. I don't know how, we are on page 5, end of page 5 of 7 when it comes to the actual crochet, and then there's 9, 10, and 10 for the putting it together. So we're pretty close. And look, there's a little pixel. So I really appreciate everybody coming tonight. Had a good time chatting with everybody. My YouTube friends, make sure that you hit that subscribe button and you can get notifications on when I go live, including any fun clips and videos that I end up posting. Twitch friends, if you hang about, we are going to probably raid out into one of our typical friends, because I'm a little bit tired and don't feel like searching too much tonight. So we'll see who's online. Let's see. Oh, there's so many people online right now. Rook will probably be ending soon, so we'll probably not go to Rook. Snutch is playing like a dragon, so we're gonna go and bother our good old friend Snutch. So raiding is pretty fun here. For anybody who hasn't raided before, what we do is we type raid in all caps. We pick our current favorite emote, which is whatever you happen to feel like. My favorite emote right now is the little gun emote that I created of Pixel. Yes, I actually have done all of the emotes for this channel. Here are the 4 for my channel that you have to choose from. But you choose whatever emote is good for you. And I will see everybody on the next stream. Thanks again for coming, everyone.